There was a moment in my childhood when I truly believed I was going to die. Not from war, not from hunger, but from the earth itself pulling me down. And all I could do was scream, "Someone, please help." By the time my younger brother, Dara, was born, our family had already lost more than most people lose in a lifetime. We had lost my father. We had lost money. We had lost safety. And now we lost our home. My mother could no longer afford to keep it after the robbery and the financial collapse that followed. So we moved to the only place she could manage, a remote farming area prone to flooding. Few people wanted to live there, but when survival is your only goal, choice disappears. Our new home was a small hut, barely 400 square feet, built on tall wooden stilts. The stilts protected us from the worst of the floods, but they could not protect us from hunger, from fear, from exhaustion. The soil was harsh and unforgiving. Vegetables barely grew. Yet every day, my sister and I worked beside our mother. There were no festivals, no school, no playtime. Childhood became labor. Failure was not an option because failure meant starvation. Cambodia has two true seasons, dry and wet. During the dry months, strong winds carried dust that coated our skin and filled our lungs. Nothing grew. If our family earned the equivalent of 50 cents in a day, we celebrated. The heat cracked the earth open like wounded skin. Sometimes we searched desperately for anything edible: frogs, snakes, worms. Often, we returned home with nothing. Then came the monsoon, and with it, a different kind of terror. The rains began in May. By June, our first crop was gone. Imagine working 30 days straight, only to watch everything vanish overnight. From July to October, rain fell every single day. The ground could not absorb it. Our village became a landscape of muddy pits and hidden dangers. Walking was almost impossible. We owned only one pair of shoes each, so most days we walked barefoot. My toenails turned permanently black from the mud. But that was not the worst part. The worst part was what lived beneath the surface: bugs, snakes, leeches. Things you could not see until it was too late. One afternoon, after 3 days without food, we went searching for anything we could eat. We were exhausted, desperate, hungry beyond words. As we walked through thick mud, it happened. Suddenly, the ground beneath me disappeared. I fell into a sinkhole. The mud swallowed me to my waist. I had heard stories of people dying this way, trapped with no one to pull them out. But hearing a story is very different from living it. Panic took over. I struggled and sank deeper. I could feel creatures crawling on my skin. My heart raced so violently I thought it might burst. My mother immediately handed my baby brother to my stepfather and rushed toward me. My sister grabbed my arms. They tried to pull me out. Nothing happened. The mud held me like a monster that did not want to let go. Time felt frozen. I was sinking slowly, helplessly. Then they linked arms with my stepfather to gain more strength. They had no choice but to place my baby brother on the filthy, insect-filled ground. Together, they pulled and pulled and pulled. Little by little, I began to rise, until finally I was free. When I looked down at my legs, I screamed. They were covered in metallic black leeches, dozens of them, clinging to my skin, drinking my blood. I had never experienced anything like it. The fear, the disgust, the pain. I cried out louder than I ever had before. Someone please help. My stepfather stood nearby, laughing. In that moment, something inside me broke. Because I knew my real father, or my grandfather, would never have reacted that way. They would have protected me. My mother pulled out the small knife she had begun carrying after the robbery. Her face was calm but determined. One by one, she cut the leeches from my legs. Each removal left circular wounds that bled for days. My sister stood beside us, terrified but trying to be brave. That night, I realized something powerful. Protection does not always come from the people who are supposed to give it. Sometimes it comes from those who refuse to give up on you. For weeks, I could not help my family in the fields. My legs were swollen. My wounds were open. My mind was shaken. I stayed inside the hut, holding my baby brother Dara. I felt useless, ashamed. But I was also learning something about survival. Sometimes strength is not fighting. Sometimes strength is simply enduring. My sister worked even harder to compensate for my absence, but the crops still refused to grow. It felt as if even the earth itself was testing us. Looking back now, that sinkhole did more than almost take my life. It revealed the truth about people. It showed me who would pull me up and who would stand back and laugh. It showed me that fear can become fuel. And it taught me that survival is rarely graceful. It is messy, painful, terrifying. But it is possible. If you have ever felt trapped, if life has ever pulled you down so hard you thought you would never rise again, this story is for you. Because even in the deepest mud, there is still a way out. In the next episode, I will share what hunger truly does to a child and the desperate choices we made just to stay alive. If this touched your heart, stay with me, because my journey through survival was far from over.